Hello, my name is Devin, and I love doing interviews with authors and other people in the publishing realm. So, if you are interested in those kind of things, be sure to stick around because we have a great interview with a rom com author here today. So, let's hop into it. If you like this kind of content, be sure to like and subscribe. Do you just introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about your work and publishing journey for people that don't really know about you?
Yeah. My name's Kortney Keisel. I've written 8 books. I have 2 different series. I have a dystopian series that's a 4-book series, and that's mostly like royal rom-coms. Well, they're not rom-coms. They're royal dystopian, but they're pretty funny. They have witty banter and there's a lot of romance. And then I have another one that is uh, an adult contemporary romantic comedy. So
Yeah.
they're mostly romances, but they're all pretty they fall under the closed door or sweet category. I mean, a
Oh,
lot of different people say different things, but
right. Okay. Perfect. And you are indie published, correct?
yes.
Okay, awesome. So what made you go down that road towards choosing indie publishing instead of traditional publishing? I always like to ask authors that because everyone's different, and I'm also with you in the indie market. But yeah, what made you decide to do the indie route?
So I didn't even know about indie publishing. I had written my first book, and in the back of my head, I was kind of like, "Oh, I'm not going to do anything with this." And then I told my children that I had wrote a book, and they were so excited. And so I was like, "Okay, I actually need to do something." So then, when I heard about indie publishing, it just seemed like a better fit because you could get your book out right then. You know what I mean? It was
Right.
your time frame is basically in your control. I didn't want to have to find an agent or query different editors or different companies. So I just decided to go for it. After I learned more about it, it just seemed like the best fit.
Awesome. Well, that's great. I'm glad that you're enjoying it. And I just love it too because you have that control over your covers. You can choose your editor. You choose who you get to work with.
Yeah.
So, what made you want to be a writer?
I actually had no plans to do this. I did graduate with an English degree, but I taught middle school. So a couple of years ago, I had been reading a lot. This was like in 2015. We didn't really have, I mean, we had Goodreads, but there wasn't Bookstagram. There just didn't feel like there was a community where I could be like, okay, this is the kind of book I like. I'm
Mhm.
gonna, these people have good recommendations. So I was reading a lot and just kind of going in blind on Amazon, and I just did not like any of the plots. And so I was just so unsatisfied. So after one book that I hated, I was just like, you know what? I can do better than this. And at the time, I mean, what a naive thought, right? Because it's actually quite difficult to write a book. But
Right.
I did just was like, I just pulled out my laptop right then and I was like, I'm going to write a story. I'm going to write the story I want to read because I just was not satisfied with the romance arcs in all these books. And
Yeah.
then, I mean, I set it aside for years, but that is really the moment that it happened.
Oh, so cool. I always love asking that because it's just interesting, it's kind of seeing the origin story of every writer and kind of seeing where they decided that moment, just kind of fun to hear that. Perfect. So, what does your typical writing slash work day look like?
All of my kids are in school. I have 5 kids, and my youngest is in second grade. So I can get a lot of writing done between like 9 and 2:30, and then I have to go leave and do carpool. But I also am my own marketer, right? So
Yeah.
a lot of time is spent on Instagram, TikTok. I just started dabbling in that, and that actually takes a lot of time and just the business side. So I don't always write from 9 to 2:30. That would be ideal, but I can get a lot done with that. And then if my kids are, if they're at friends or they're taken care of, I'll sit down and keep writing. So I actually write probably more than most authors do just
Okay.
because I can.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's wonderful. Okay, so then when it comes to like marketing and stuff, have you taken like an ads class that is like really good that you recommend or any like I am so new when it comes to ads and like they're kind of scary, honestly.
Yeah, they're a little difficult to kind of just even, figure out what's going on. I
Right.
did do the 5-day Amazon ad challenge on Facebook.
Okay.
And I mean, it was a good general, that was like the first thing that I did. And
Yep.
I got some good information, kind of just got my feet wet. And then I did take an ad class at a conference,
Okay.
but I wanted, because I'd taken the 5-day one, I wanted a little bit more. And the
Right.
people in the class with me were like brand new. So I felt like it was a little bit like held back, which
Right.
is fine. Everybody's at different levels. So, but I would like to take more of an advanced class at some
Okay.
point. I mean, a lot of it's just trial and error. Sometimes I feel like I'm just throwing money away.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, you just try to figure it out, but then you see like, okay, well, that cell converted, or there's that many page reads, and then you're like, okay, something's working. So you just keep throwing money at it.
Keep doing it. Yeah, keep feeding it, right?
Yeah.
What would you recommend for other writers who wanna do kind of what you're doing, where they're like, "I wanna be an indie author, and I want to run my own business and do this kind of as like an authorpreneur," because that's kind of what you're doing, so
Yeah. I think first write the book. You have to have the book written. And I think for a lot of people, they get started on the book and they get stuck or frustrated, or they go back and rewrite the first half again and they just never write the end. I
Mhm.
think, just let it all go and just keep going. Don't go back, don't fix, don't get frustrated, just keep writing and you can always come back and fix it. And once you write the end, then while you're fixing it, start researching everything you can about indie publishing, because there's so much and it can get overwhelming. I was totally overwhelmed, but
Mm.
if you just keep chipping away at it day after day, like you learn everything there is to know. Not everything, but enough that you can get your book out there by the time that you're ready to.
What is the most difficult thing about running your business slash being a writer and running a publishing company?
I mean, there's lots of different things that are difficult within writing, just getting over, being motivated, getting over anytime you're blocked. That's hard. I would also say within marketing, not spending too much time, on Instagram,
No.
or anywhere that you're trying to market, trying to find a better balance with that is difficult. And then overall comparison can be hard. Now that I've been doing this for 2 years, I have some author friends who I love and I'm so happy for their success. But it's hard sometimes because you're like, oh, their book is like taking off. So you try to copy what they're doing because that's smart to look at what they're doing. But then at the same time, you're like, oh, why is their book taking off and mine's not? So there's just, I think the mental game in all aspects of it is the biggest thing. Just try to stay mentally strong so that you don't compare, so that you don't get stuck, things like that.
Right, definitely agree with you. It can be hard, the comparison especially.
Yeah.
Um, especially, like, you see, like, someone post on Instagram saying, "Hey, I finished this book," or "I did this," and then you're like, "I have a long ways to go until I am where they are," or whatnot. So, what would you have as advice for people who deal with that comparisonitis that kind of also stems from, like, imposter syndrome too?
Yeah. I think number one, if you find yourself comparing to other authors' success, then you probably need to take a step back. Maybe don't get on Instagram for a couple of days, or don't, kind of remove the thing in your life that you're seeing all of this success. And then the imposter thing, I mean, you just have to believe in yourself. You started this book for a reason. There's a story inside of you, and you just have to know that there's going to be somebody else out there who will appreciate it.
Mhm.
Um, and and if there isn't, then who cares? You accomplished a really cool thing. Not everybody, writes a book. So I
Right.
think you just have to stay positive and tell yourself that you're doing a cool thing, and then just take it one step at a time. And yeah, that's what I'd say.
Perfect. Yeah, that's wonderful advice. Okay, so and what would you say is the most precious thing to you about being a writer and having your own publishing company? What is your the most precious thing?
Well, I release books quickly.
Okay.
So I am kind of a thrill junkie. The feeling you get when you release a book and everyone likes it and you're getting the reviews coming in, and it's a high. And so I keep coming back to that high, and I probably should slow down, and I probably will slow down a little bit, but It is, that's the best part, is seeing something that you worked so hard on, you put your blood, sweat, and tears into, and now all of a sudden people are reading it. They're staying up till 4 a.m. to finish it. They love it. And you're just like, I did this. So I would say that's the best part.
Oh, good. That's wonderful. So you said that you're kind of a quicker, fast releaser. So like, how was that schedule work for you? Kind of like a 3 month schedule, or how, and
Um,
then, how long does it take you to write the book, edit, and yeah, bring it to everyone?
So it depends on the book. I get faster. My first series, they're longer books, like 105,000 words. My second series, they're around like 78,000. Um, I think now a rom-com takes me about a month to write. And then I spend a month of heavy editing. And then I send it to an editor for 2 weeks. And then while she's doing that, I'm still making edits, and then I get it back for like 2 days and I'll send it for the final copy edit, and then I release it two
Okay.
weeks later. So it goes, I would say 3 months is about a good time frame. 3 to 4 months
Oh,
is
wow. That's
depending on
wonderful.
if my kids are home, life.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, congrats. That is just wonderful. Like, that's nice to be able to get into that schedule of like every 3 months you can expect, and your readers can expect to get something new. That's really
Yeah.
fun. And then let's see here. What other questions did I have? Oh, yes. Um, yes. Okay. So what are your best marketing tips for indie authors? What have you found works for you?
I think you need to uh, get involved in Bookstagram. That
Mm.
is where my original success came in. I had a Bookstagrammer I reached that I knew in college, like 20 years ago. And she and I just kind of connected again on Bookstagram. And I said, hey, I wrote this book. Would you like to read it? And she was like, sure. She read it, loved it, had a book club, told all of her book club. The book club told everybody. And it just
Cool.
kind of steamrolled from there. So I think my first advice would be get on Bookstagram early, set up your account, build relationships, be
Mm,
real, be genuine. Because if you're not being real and genuine, you really won't get a response from
great.
people. So build the relationships early, comment on their posts, and then when it's time for your day, they'll all support you.
Wonderful. Yeah, that is great. Really good advice. Bookstagram is such a fun community too.
Yeah, it really is.
Oh, it's awesome. So, and then any last minute advice you'd like to share with writers or people wanting to do what you do?
I would say, and I kind of already touched on this before, but I think if you're in the middle of writing a book, just keep writing,
Mhm,
because once you write the end, that's motivation for everything else.
mhm,
I know so many people that I talk to who just get stuck. And if you're stuck, have a beta reader read it. And then don't be so attached to your words on your story that you won't change.
mhm,
Because I am like, whatever, you don't like that, I'll delete it. You don't like this, I'll like, I don't even care, just as long as it then the end product is something good. So keep
mhm.
going and then get people to read it, and don't be too attached to everything.
That's great. That's great advice. And then where can people find your books?
So I'm only on Amazon. I have everything on there in Kindle Unlimited. I do have two audiobooks. A third one's about to release. So that's on Audible. And I'm also on Instagram and TikTok under Read Romcom, which is random. And I do have a Facebook group, but I am not active in it. So
Okay.
Instagram is the best place to connect with
Well,
me.
thank you so much for chatting with me. I just enjoy this so much. And I just, yeah, I love chatting with people about this kind of stuff. So I was like, when I saw your books and read them, I was like, I need to talk to her.
Oh, thanks for having me. It was a
Yeah.
lot of
Oh, good. Yay.
Hey, thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Yeah. Talk to you later, Courtney.
Okay, see ya.
Yep. Bye.